Hello. Hello, hello, hello. So silver, eh? Interesting day for silver, not gonna lie. It's interesting. So let's dive in here. Again, silver, yes. Look where we stand, by the way. Where do we stand? We are standing on the footsteps to a major breakdown in the silver to gold ratio. Or the gold to silver ratio, of course. Look at this here. And thank you for tuning in, by the way. I just wanted you to highlight where we stand. This is where the floodgates are opening. So we need to get below, of course. And we're basically sitting there now, 78. So this is interesting. This is where everything goes ballistic in silver and the miners, if we can break down, of course. So let's see if it can do that. What is your favorite silver stock moving forward? It depends. Do you mean entry wise or just in general? You know, because entry wise, again, most of the bigger entries were done like a year ago, if not more, between 1.5 years and basically until like a half year ago. In general, yeah, I'm a huge fan of this stock here. Again, Opera, one of our best entries for sure. $2 roughly, sitting now at 9, and just basically looking overall really good. It's up 7% today also, and yeah, it's one of the good ones, really. So it's nice to have. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. But yeah, let's see what can happen here. We go to the shorter time frames on the gold to silver ratio. So and again, this is all that matters now, is the gold to silver ratio, basically. So what we're seeing here is basically since October, mid-October, we've made what could be perceived as a cup and handle, right, inverse. So again, we might see a little dribble here. I would actually expect that, and then we break down. So again, once we start to break down, you know, below that 78, it's game on for silver, and even more so the miners. And that is why we are prepared for one of the biggest moves that we will probably see. Life-changing, basically, if you're again our position for it. Again, just my opinion, of course. I could be wrong. But it has been my view for a long time. Looking at the gold to silver ratio, basically, that is, you know, the driver to the miners. So I want to invert this, so you basically get the silver to gold ratio, because it gives you a really bullish view. That's good. Again, look at this here. If this was a stock, right, once we break this stuff here, would you buy it? I would. So that is interesting. So hopefully we do. Again, we can't celebrate until we get the break, but this looks like that cup and handle that we have on the silver price as well, in the short-term stuff. Turn up volume. It should be on full blast. Right, it should be on full blast. Let me check here if anything has changed. Sometimes it does. No, it should be fine. It should be fine. Let me know. But again, I haven't... How is the volume, by the way? Let me know. Can hear you fine. Oh, good. On only this stream. Oh, really? Low volume? All okay. I can turn up a little bit. It should be better there. Right? Should be. So we'll just do the silver to gold ratio. Have a look-see. Gonna uninvert, of course. And we're gonna have one simple trend line on. It's a bit low, okay. I can move it closer, I can do that. And let me know if it's better. I've turned it up a little bit. Just a tiny bit. So yeah, again, silver to gold ratio, the most important ratio liquidity-wise. And you can see here, this is the weekly time frames, by the way, so look at that, you can see it here. And you could also argue again, look at the importance of basically this level. We should make like a thick box here. And we're gonna make it a bit more transparent and make a... Can we do that? A line around that? No, it's fine. So we can see here clearly that this is also... Why? Not a textbook, but, well, close. It's actually very close to a textbook, head and shoulder, meaning when we break the downtrend, which is basically 5 years old. This is back in the highs from the Silver Squeeze 1.0, and I remember that day. You know, I could basically give a resume of what I did that day. That was insane, but it marked to be it was the peak basically for that move up here, and now we're getting close to break that downtrend. And as always, it seems like we are breaking. Let's remove some stuff here so you can see. Yeah, it breaks out against the SPX as well. It's amazing. I did a video on that yesterday. We can do that also here. So look at this here. Where is these funky little... That's the high of Silver Squeeze 1.0. And we have one more, right? We can copy this one. That's way easier. Copy the highs of 2024, May. And then we have here the fourth touch, basically, today. So will we break through? We certainly hope so, but it looks like it's textbook setup. Downtrend breakage, head and shoulder. Once we break, we target. And by the way, this is the silver to gold ratio, so this is roughly 1.3% of silver. 1.3% of silver. Anything above that, I mean 1.3% the price of gold, my bad. Once we start to clear that level, everything changes, and silver is the better play by far. Gold will do fine, don't get me wrong, but you want to be in silver assets compared to gold. No question. No question at all. Initially here, you can see we are targeting a 33% move from there. Right, a 33% move in favor of silver, while the gold price will also go up. So that is quite incredible. But again, to me, and now we're going to zoom out a little bit more, not to go in too much detail, but this breakout here that we're having, to me, is the beginning of a of silver catching up to gold big time, and this will be fire in a good way, on silver. The miners is going to do absolutely fantastic. So yeah, we're basically sitting there heading into Thanksgiving tomorrow. Isn't that a lovely coincidence? This is a mini head and shoulders since October. We even called the peak in the minus, that peak at least. We saw a big drawdown, and now we're ready to go again. So this little head and shoulder, it's close. It's very close. I don't think it has been this close ever. It hasn't, by the way. So, and also you can start to really do some bigger targets, of course. Right? You can start to. Right, again, you can see just how high this one goes. This one points to 2% of gold. Even more so, this one points to 2.5%. And we could, again, now we can start to, again, we don't celebrate until we're breaking out. But you can see here, we're starting to, the 1.618 is above 3% the price of gold. Meaning you have 30 to 1 in the gold to silver ratio, which is very low. So yeah, key moment happening potentially today, tomorrow. Potentially. Should we have a look at the silver to gold ratio? Excuse me, the silver to SPX? Yes, we should. Again, we don't celebrate yet, but it looks pretty darn good, doesn't it? As mentioned, we will probably get a little bit of a wobble before we go, but it's fine. It is absolutely fine. Where is it? SPX. URNM, yes, bullish, for sure, 100%. I actually have a long call on that, done yesterday. So yeah, you can see here, this is a chart we looked at yesterday on the Substack, by the way, as well. This is the peak from 1980, the big peak there in 2011. So we haven't broken the, the decade-long underperformance by silver compared to the SPX. However, what is happening is this here was back in September. We broke a very key horizontal level, and now we're also breaking, this kind of, depending on how you draw this, it could be a wedge, but you get the idea. We're breaking out here on the monthly, and we have 2 days left? 2 days left and this will be a breakout on a monthly closing basis. Interesting. So all of a sudden we are having a rare moment where silver will become better than the general stock market for the US. Ah, cool, with the URNM there. We are in that final phase, by the way, with the Vikov spring that I've been talking so much about in that whole URA to spot price ratio. So that is very interesting. Hello, Kevin. I'm just reading the chat now. Yes, mini cup and handle on the silver daily. Absolutely. Absolutely. You are correct. A lot of funky stuff going on here, I know. But it is getting close, right? So, as you can see here, this is again mid-October to the highs there. It basically mirrors the silver to gold ratio, cup and handle. So we have a little bit more upside. We are now at 53.3, and we have big resistance in the shorter time frame. Well, long term as well. 54.2. So we might get that little hump. The final third hump could be a bull flag, by the way, and then we go setting up for a September mega rally, and that's an understatement. Oklo I haven't checked, but it has calmed down insanely, right? Hasn't it? It's definitely getting smoked from 200 down to 90. But you have the line, it's very clear once you want to get in again, right? It's very, very clear. And I do believe we're going to break out very shortly. Very shortly here, you can see that false breakdown. It should produce. And definitely once we get above 110, these lows here, and that candle high, it should be game on again for Oklo. Which I'm very confident in that's going to happen. So yeah. Bitcoin again is having the rally, mini rally as expected also. Long term Bitcoin looks very heavy. It needs to undo a lot of technical damage before the long term bullishness is back. Just, you know, so. Is the volume good, by the way? I haven't seen any more complaints. I turned it up just a tiny bit, so. And I have no music on because some people want it, and so you can just listen to my lovely voice, basically. Lovely voice. Abra is good. Yep. Abra is fantastic. Holy shit. Sorry. I heard you expected $90 to $100. Yeah. What can you expect during that period for the miners? I mean, this here again, I wanted to zoom out a little bit. Also an old target I've made, not like old, but like a few months ago. We have a, we do this. So overall here, you can see we only have 3 touches, but they are very big outliers. So I'm pretty confident in this channel here, even though we don't exactly know yet. The blue one is confirmed in my view, since we have so many on the low side. And you can see this little pocket here, which is March 2026, $76 for silver. And it seems like that call that was made like you know, it was back in July or August, seems to be not that far away all of a sudden, right? We could do some measures here. You can see here, depending on how we measure, we are getting there. Right, we're getting there. So, and we can easily overperform that, by the way. It could just completely forget that resistance and just keep going. It's a triple resistance, so it should have some validity, but and yeah, and the miners is gonna overperform silver in that period. The reason is again the silver to gold ratio, because this will produce the breakout, a long-term breakout in that ratio. And once we get those breakouts where silver is so dominant compared to gold, the miners is gonna outperform whatever silver is doing. So yeah, exciting. Again, as mentioned, we are not entirely there, but we are pretty darn close. And I'm expecting some sort of reaction down here. You know, very, very short term, by the way. I'm expecting some sort of final moment, and then we go. Again, into September, to December, right? We have this little, and then we collapse in the gold. to silver ratio. What does this mean? It means we're gonna come from like, yeah, basically 78 down to like 60, 65. The lows down here. And even though it's not perfect, it has vibes of a head and shoulder. So we're gonna come down, gonna bounce, and then we're gonna collapse even further down to the lows of 2011. And we can even do like a Fibonacci extension here. You can see here the 1.618 basically matching the 30 ratio low here. So yeah, and the same thing here with the 2.618 from this move here points to the 80s low over here. This to me, again, I could be wrong, as you know, but I've been saying once we break that level, it is the reignition for one of the biggest miners bull markets we have seen in 15 years, if not more, since 2010. And I think that move in 2010 will look tiny compared to what we see here. So tiny, tiny. Radisson, yeah, RDS. Let's have a look for you. Well, you know, let's just for you. This is all you, by the way. Again, Radisson is also looking extremely strong, basically at all-time highs. Basically at all-time highs. So we might have some resistance here, but in the grand scheme of things, big entry at 20 cents now, sitting at 80. So that is here we go. I know. Radisson. It's been a goodie, right? And it is also producing. Is it producing? Yeah, it is. Continuation. That's nice. This one, the break above 84. I'm gonna talk about this for like 3 hours now. Just go to bed early, late. Excuse me. A 60% move, 1.3. Continuation, potentially going on in Radisson. That's good. That's really good. Gap is filling now on the miners. That is interesting. Again, if we don't break down from that gold to silver ratio again, can totally happen, but we're hammering once again. There is, the bearish view, of course. There's always another side to that coin if we don't break down. Always. We could see the bear flag breakdown in the silver miners, which will most likely produce a move down to 50, which would suck, to say the least. So, but if we break down, we negate the little pretend, bear flag here, and we're gonna go to the highs and go further. You can also see these wedge patterns here. Gap is filling up. Gap has been filled. We're actually above the gap, which is really good. So for the next few days, we want to get above that line, and that confirms our view even more. Any calls? Again, I haven't been buying heavily lately in the silver miners. A lot of my purchases were done like a year ago and in 2024, but also quite a few in 2025. So yeah. I'm just reading the chat here again. Just feel free to ask anything. Like a top 5 miners list. Oh, here we go. I don't know if I have a top 5, but I will go back to one that was probably our best. Our best entry. Excuse me, I had the heater on. The best entry ever. Well, That's a big statement, I know. Santa Cruz, 44. And the reason were actually somewhat simple. Downtrend here, we had a head and shoulder play as well, you know. And then we started to break 44. Our view was we're going to go to the neckline. We did a pullback, standard, and then blast off. Target still remains 7.5. And right now it's sitting at 2.5, so it's doing quite well. It is doing quite well. So again, buying here might be a I mean, the risk, it's going to go to the target, I guess, but again, the risk is not there unless we get some sort of mega consolidation, and then we go. But thank you, Cool Breeze. I love to do this, by the way. Attire, what is that? Attire, I know it's attire. This one here, Buckley. I assume, right? Okay, what is that? Pharmaceutical? Interesting. Again, I would say if you're not in, that is fine. I would start to. I would expect some sort of bounce down here. At this, you know, roughly all the way down to 2.5, starting at 2.8. If we get down to there, of course, I think that's good value. You can see the stage 2 downtrend here, stage 1 sideways, and this was the breakout point. So if you're lucky enough, right, you could get a test, and you can just have a simple stop below to cap your risk, and then you're expecting this to. So it looks really good, and this is a pullback because the trend, it ran from 1 to basically 6 mega move, right? So this move here is basically the first one after the big move. So whatever happens here, if you can get an entry, it could be the bull flag. It could be a full retest, whatever. That is your ticket. So just some patience. Have patience. Oh, the LGO here. I think we should stick more to silver, but we could do LGO because it did break out, but it also got hammered. Yeah, exactly. Again, we're not correct all the time. No one is. And we called the long here. Right? And stop below there. So that is a nasty candle. Out of the blue, right? Or was it like news? It has to be news. But where is it sitting now? It's basically sitting at the lower end of our mega downtrend. So would I buy it there? It depends on your strategy, but you need to, if you do, don't expect this one just to go straight up. It has a lot of unwinding to do before it can go. So yeah, it has been brutal. That one, it has to be news, right? That candle there, that, you know, it gapped down from 2.4 down to 1.1. I don't know what that is, but holy, that sucks. That is not good. This one, oh, nice. I've been waiting for this. Also confirming our bias. This is the CDNX or JX on TradingView. This is what you want to see if you want to be, you know, the miners to move. This is the TSX Venture Composite. And when this stuff breaks out, you know, when this goes up, the miners does wonders. And look at the breakout here. Boom. And you can see here we had again the peak in October the 15th in the miners. We've come down ever since, but now we're breaking the bull flag, so we are back in, you know, we're back in bullish mode for the miners. That's amazing. It's really good. Pass, I know pass by heart. Yes, it's 20-year head and shoulder. We're sitting at the neckline. That's my view. That's my memory. It's pass, right? Yeah. We have broken the neckline. Holy bomby, that's cool. We have broken the neckline. Look at one of the biggest head and shoulders you've seen, and we're breaking out. We're sitting now at 43. You can have a stop below 30. I know it's a big stop, but if you consider the potential move here. Why don't I have any music? Why don't I have any music? I need music. Depeche Mode. Yeah, let's go. So, again, the long trigger was 40. We're sitting at 43. That's fine. Target. Potential target. Not tomorrow. Not this year. Not in 2026. But later, right, of course. 24 to 1. Even though we have already run 10%, you're looking at a 24 to 1. Maximum greedy target. Again, this will take a few years to produce. But this is a mega breakout for pass. So if you're long, don't sell. If you want to go long, in my view, you can probably do it here upon that neckline. You can have a stop below 30. I know it's a 50% stop, which is a lot, but compared to what you can gain, I mean, that is the risk reward is definitely there for sure. Yeah, LGO. I mean, I even said it was a very clean breakout and then just completely hammered over one day. So yeah, that's not a good sign for silver, right? Major silver producer. 18 billion worth of market cap, breaking a 20-year neckline. It can't be all that bad, really. It can't be all that bad. And still, I have no music on. Why is that? Why is that? Oh, there it is. Good. Behind the wheel. Cool. So yeah, amazing. What else? What else? Let me hear. I'm just reading. Yeah, again, I cannot pronounce the name, but GSVS, right? GSVS? No? GSV? One. I will not say the name because you will laugh. Oh, there it is. There it is. GSVR. Long since 0.28. Small position, but it still looks good. Of course, the big numbers will come once we really break out and take out that high there. Head and shoulder. Target 3 or so. Looks amazing. Everything looks amazing. And, even said that, going into this week here, that this gold and silver miners overall looks really good. Yep. EXK Endeavor looks godly. This is my go-to setup. Long since $6. Basically breaking out from that 15, no more, almost 20 years wedge. Just let it play out. Don't do anything. Stop below 4.7. Long since $6. That's amazing. It looks really good. I mean, this is monthly. Don't overcomplicate things. Sit on your behind and do nothing for like 2 years. Buy add-on pullbacks. It sounds simple, but and it is not simple, of course, because we will see a drawdown at some, multiple times where we get 40% down on the way up. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah, Avino Silver Mines looks great still. Is it a buy here? Probably not from a risk reward point, but it's gonna go higher. Hecla also still long, and we are gonna remain long for a few years. My target is still roughly 60. Can easily overperform. Momentum wise this is momentum on the monthly, so very long time frame stuff. Boom. We're gonna remain green for a very long time, meaning once we start to reset and see, the pullbacks in momentum, that will be buying opportunities as well. It looks amazing. Yep, it does. Yeah, pass is just one of the best. One of the best. Again, and you shouldn't risk any dilution. Again, big company, they make money and they will make even more, when the prices go up in silver. So very exciting, of course. But let's go back to what is really important, and that is the ratio here. Remember, we are very close. Does that mean we will get it? Of course not. But I think everything is pointing to it. The line in the sand. And again, people will know that we made the call that even before we hit it, 78 is the level. We hit it, that was nasty for the miners, and now we're sitting there trying to break down. What we don't want to see, again, it's all about probabilities, and by far this one wants to go. If it doesn't, or if it makes a false breakdown, of course, we have two lines here, the downtrend and this spin-off kind of trend line here. If they break one way or the other, it's not this time. It's a timing issue. It will break at some point, that uptrend there, but that will be very bad for silver, gold, stock market, everything. Everything. Let's see. What have we? Yeah, KB Strat, Endeavor, Hecla, Avino. I mean, amazing. Yeah, the LGO one value was it was a good setup, but again, you have that whole news thing, finance, all that stuff. So Lotus Energy. Should we check a uranium stock? Is it Lotus? Is it gone? No. Hello T. Okay. One of the, more bad performance in the complex. It needs to hold here. Again, for some reason, it just just can't keep up with a raging bull market that is uranium. Bear flagging. We need to hold here. We really do need to hold here. That's the weekly. Do we have some downtrend going on? Right. We need to go. We need to start moving here. Underperforming heavily in a sector that has done really well. That's never good. Well, it's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. So, again, silver, the USD chart, I'm expecting it to hit roughly 54, maybe all the way to 54.5 or so. And then we'll probably have a little bit of a boom, and then we go. That is my outlook for silver. Silver. Should we check a Fibonacci extension? Yes, we should. I can't remember if we did it. The golden fib points to 80. Meaning we're gonna break out from the blue. A little bit. Just a tiny bit. And the reason why I said, 90 to 100 would be a level to reach before we could see a very big correction. And that correction will be aligned with everything else also, if we get that big drop in silver. And it's basically, if you do a linear scale of this whole cup and handle, from basically $4 to 50, you add that on top, you're getting almost 100. 95 something, yeah, whatever that is. And that is why, that measured move is a big target for many people, and they will sell into that. Which is not wrong, by the way. If you trade silver, that's a perfectly good strategy. Perfectly good. Again, here you can see, this is log scale, remember. But if we do this, you're getting, 55, in dollar terms, 55. 45, my bad. And then you add that to the top. 45 takes you to there. 95, right? Close to 100. However, if we do the log scale, which we always do, it points to 600 and change. So again, this is not tomorrow. Remember that. Remember. Platinum is also soon breaking some short-term stuff. That's nice. Remember, platinum long-term, godly. Palladium the same, even though it's not as powerful as platinum, but still it should go way up as well. Copper, long call was made. That one there. Just a tiny, no, not a biggie, but we have some flag that's gonna break here. That takes us to $6 potentially. Yeah, it's so close. It's incredible. It's incredible, really. What is the Dixie doing here? Just checking in. The funny thing is, the Dixie short term, this is like a half a year. It doesn't look all that bad yet. I mean, it's still, if we start to break these highs up here, you could have a moment where the dollar and silver potentially does, does well. Oh, that's a nasty candle. Did we have some news coming out today at yeah, we had PPI, yes. Yeah, this is new. This is PPI, right? Didn't PPI came out? I think no, it was jobless claims. Sorry, it was claims. Again, I haven't checked. I don't check I barely do check what happened, but. And we're no longer in backwardation in the silver to futures. Not that it is bad, but look here. I want to show you something on the futures chart. I don't do futures chart that often, but let's clean it all out. Go away. Interesting, right? Capitan Silver. I've never heard about that. I'm sure. Has it just completely? Okay, that's it. I don't think we would have been able to catch it. No, there's no real end. But look how strong it is, basically. That's insane. That's really good. That is really good, right? But yeah, we should have bought that. I would have been that would have been nice. First time seeing it, so I think this scale looks insane. Yeah. Massive flag here. Massive flag. That is insane. That's really... Yeah. We should have bought that. Why didn't you tell me, by the way? Why didn't you do? Why didn't you say so? No, I'm just joking. You can't catch them all. But yes, once we break here, we should run, break above like $2 or so. It should take us to 5. $5, yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see the Asian session, getting started in like 3 hours, isn't it? Yeah, 3 hours. But again, I am expecting a pullback from here. One way or the other, we could come all the way down to. We could easily come down to 42.5. Easily. But it doesn't really matter, right? We think it's going to break out. We think it's going to break out. Defiance, what are you doing? Are you showing any signs of life here? No, not yet. Oh, look at that. Doodles. Orient gold. Cool, finally. Santa Cruz, holy bananas, 20% today, really? That's nice. Backtesting now, but this shouldn't be an issue. Really? Did it do 20%? So it did, not bad. Not bad at all. Good, let's do 5 more minutes, yeah? Let's do 5 more. Sitting on how much upside now? $450. MGG. Minorium, yeah. It is looking like it wants to move, right? We had a big break here. And then we had a nasty pullback, again, together with everything else. So once we take out this breakout high here, it's targeting how much initially? Basically all-time highs at like 90. From this alone, from the handle part, depending on how you put it, it has a lot of upside. But again, the pullbacks will be, it will drain your soul when that happens, 40-50% multiple times along the way. That's gonna be, yeah, that is juicy. It is. So we're breaking out from the neckline, which again should be blue. It's not the prettiest of them all, but it has vibes. Breaking out, backtesting. It seems like it wants to go. Again, above 50 cents, it would gain a lot of momentum. It still has some short-term down momentum to overcome. But it's doing 20% today also. Huh, cool. That is cool. EMPR. What is that? I haven't seen this before. I have seen this before. Oh, yeah. I remember back in the day. We had some old stuff going on here, which didn't play out. Again, I would never buy it here, but it looks good. Looks good. Right? Target from this bad boy is far away. 1.6, roughly. Still. Again, I wouldn't buy it here, in my opinion. Again, it's just... But this was a good one down here. This whole thing. If you can get it close to 1, again, if you are able to. What happened today? It has to be nothing. Earnings. That's a weird candle, right? No news. Maybe it's just me. If you can get it at like 1, you could do some decent risk reward with that 1.6 move. You know, risk reward wise, you could get some okay stuff going on. Next M, what is that? What is next M? This one? No, can't be. Because that's not... I'm not seeing any breakout, mate. I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother at all with this stock here. Again, we are in a mega bull market for miners and silver, and this is just from... No, I wouldn't do anything at all. Even though, again, it could run, but there are way better options in my view. I mean, that's a split, so maybe it doesn't look all that bad. It's not adjusting for it. Why? It should do that automatically. 5 to 1. Yep, makes sense. Adjust. It's not adjusting for it, which is we can do a trick here and adjust it for ourselves. Somehow. Right count? No. I'm just gonna test something here. It's just a... I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna drag it down so we get the exact same chart. We're gonna do this. I mean, if you really want in, you can buy the potential double bottom here. But yeah. But again, it has underperformed heavily compared to all the other stocks. So again, I wouldn't really bother. They paid their loan and did a... Okay, yeah. But again, here, I have adjusted it for that split myself here. So basically, we're sitting at the lows from 2021 or 2020. And even then, though, this was basically the peak of the miners. And it was... I don't know. I wouldn't be... I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. No problem value. Again, it's a big day here, potentially, you know. I don't expect it to go through in the first run here, or the third. I'm expecting the pullback, so... So you have interesting stuff happening. The futures is up heavily, 5%. Can that really be true? Maybe it can. Maybe it can. And remember, we have Thanksgiving tomorrow. So happy Thanksgiving to the U.S. people. So the banksters is not in. Yeah, 5% apparently. The banksters is not in tomorrow. Again, does it matter? I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. Again, the start of the bull market, people say it was 2025. It was not. It was 2024 March. So yeah. Yeah, I think tomorrow the US market is closed. Not the Canadian, but the US is. Again, correct me if I'm wrong here. And we have half a day Friday US session. I think that's how it is. So the worst case scenario, let's talk worst case before I go here, is we can't break through here on, where we stand. Worst case is we spend, and this will probably sound very, we could spend the entire 2026 flagging here. That's the worst case. Which would be yeah. Which would be, yeah. You can fill in those words yourself. So, but it seems like, again, if it would have drawn down more, it should have done it the first two times, no? I don't know. But these prior two weekly wicks here, October, November, that wick high is basically the ceiling of that 45-year cup and handle on the futures. So that points to 54.44. So basically 54.5. Let's see if it can do it or not. So that is all, guys. Remember, 78, very important level coming in here, testing again now. So short term, long term, everything seems primed for this to break down finally. That will be extremely bullish for silver, platinum, palladium, gold, of course, as well. And the miners is going to produce some really good gains, to say the least. So let's see if it happens. It seems like it, right? Have an amazing day. I'm going to leave you to it. Have a happy Thanksgiving in the US. And have a great day. Cheers, guys.